Hey guys, Papa GFC here, or as I'm better known, PGFC, which we all know stands for Peter Griffin Family. In this video, I'm going to try to answer a couple questions that I get asked very frequently in my Forbidden Memories live streams. Let's get going. So the first question that I see is, can you beat this game without farming? Yes, it is absolutely possible to beat Forbidden Memories without doing any sort of farming, and you won't even have to lose any duels in the process. You can go through the entire game without losing a single duel, without winning any good cards, and you can do it without any sort of farming. The issue with this is that the odds of this happening are roughly the odds if you laid on your stomach and pushed out a turd and it landed in a red Solo cup across the room. It's most likely not going to happen, and practicing probably won't help. Question 2. Can I win Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, or can I win Blue-eyes Ultimate Dragon, or can I win any other of the 33 cards that you cannot win? No. There are 722 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Out of those 722 cards, unless you have the Japanese version, a PlayStation 1, and a Pocket Station, you cannot get 33 of those 722 cards, which means that the maximum number of cards you can have show up in the card library is 689 for all versions of the game except Japanese. The main reason that this happens like this is because Forbidden Memories was first released in Japan in 1999, and the Pocket Station was first released in Japan in 1999. So when Forbidden Memories was being developed, it was with the Pocket Station in mind. They wanted to make some games that were compatible with the Pocket Station. However, by 2002, which is the year that Forbidden Memories released outside of Japan, the Pocket Station was discontinued and never released outside of Japan. So now Konami had a game that had support for a device that didn't exist outside of their own country, and they were getting ready to ship that game outside of their country. So they pretty much had two options. One, they could go through the entire game and change the drop lists for pretty much everybody in order to make these cards obtainable. Two, they could just remove the Pocket Station functionality and ship the game. I think we all know which one they went with. 3. What is RNG manipulation? 4. Why did you not attack in an insert magic lock here situation? There's something called magic locking in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, and pretty much what that does is it manipulates the AI to not play a magic against you in most scenarios. The easy way to describe this is that the AI, for a very short period of time before they make their move, does not see the fact that you equipped your monsters. So let's say you have a 2800 Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, you throw a Megamorph on it, now it's 3800. Now let's say there's a Gate Guardian on the other side of the field. If you keep that Gate Guardian alive, whoever played that Gate Guardian will not be able to play a magic against you. They can play them face down, but he can't play it out of his hand. The reason for this is because at the very beginning of the enemy's turn, he looks at what cards you have on the field, and he checks their attack values. Remember, he doesn't see equips during this first check. So he sees it as a 2800 attacking monster, and then he looks back at his own monster and he sees 3750. So in the eyes of this duelist, he has control of the duel. And if the enemy has control of the duel, or at least they think they have control of the duel when originally doing these checks at the beginning of their turn, they will not play magics. So if they think that they're in control of the duel because they cannot see equips, then they will not play any magics. This is also why the suicide glitch works. Kind of. Question 5. When do you know that the enemy played a trap or a magic? So this is actually really simple to find out. When the enemy plays something on their magic row or on their back row, if they bring the cursor over the card and it turns dark, then it's a magic. If they do not bring their cursor over the card and make it dark, if the enemy ends their turn and the card is still bright, like they just placed it down, then that's a trap. Question 6. How can you think that vaping and streaming is a good idea?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Question 7. Can Kaiba drop Blue-eyes White Dragon? No! Question 8. Can you beat Haishin 1 in campaign, and if so, what happens? Yes, you can beat Haishin 1 in campaign. Pretty much all that happens is that he asks you to fight him again and again until you eventually do lose. The game will not continue in its storyline until you actually lose to Haishin. If you search YouTube for this, you can actually see somebody doing it with a deck that they farmed from Duelist before Haishin. And look at those views. Oh, good God, I should have done it. Question 9. How do you get a-tecs? Question 10. Can you get Exodia, and does the effect work? So you cannot get all of the pieces of Exodia without the Pocket Station for the reasons that we discussed earlier. The 2 legs of Exodia are not possible to be purchased unless you feel like getting 1 million star chips per leg. Those are some expensive legs, Exodia boy. And it's obviously not able to be gotten by fusion or ritual summoning. However, if you were to hack the game or have the Japanese version and get the legs inside of your save file and you drew them all, then yes, the effect of Exodia would work. Once you drew all 5 cards, they would come together almost like a ritual summoning, and Exodia will absolutely fuck your face in 3D. This is actually possible to happen against you from some duelists in the game, such as Simon Moran and Haishin, more famously Haishin, as this video shows. Question 11.
Why can't you summon without tributes? Why no follow rules?
That's actually what I have in my notes. The main reason that this game does not follow the typical card game rules or the typical Yu-Gi-Oh rules is, again, because it was released in 1999. Back in 1999, there was no precedent for rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! This was Yu-Gi-Oh! In 1999. Some people may argue that the card game was actually released a few months before this game, but you have to remember they were both in development at the same time, and Konami had no idea how popular the actual card game and its rule set would be. I think of this game almost like the Zelda 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back when Zelda 2 was first released, a lot of people hated it because it just didn't feel like a typical Zelda game. But they failed to remember that back when Zelda 2 was released, there was no precedent. There was only one game before that, and it's not that uncommon for the sequel of a game to go in a different direction. I feel the same way about Forbidden Memories. There was no real precedent set, though other rules were thought of. Therefore, they decided to go in a completely different direction, and I think it worked pretty well. This game really isn't as complicated as a lot of you remember it to be, or as a lot of you may think it is now. There are just a couple key rules, and once you understand those in the game, you're golden. Things like most fusions are type plus type, not specific card plus specific card. So for example, it's not Petite Dragon plus Dark Plant equals Black Dragon Jungle King and that's it. It's any low dragon and any low plant will make Black Dragon Jungle King. That same rule applies to about 95% of the fusions in this game. However, there are exceptions. It's almost like a language. Question 12. What's the best starting deck? So, the best actual starting deck that exists is somewhere around 5 dragons and 4 thunders, which is 9 total dragons and thunders. However, theoretically, the best possible deck would be something insane like 11 dragons and 9 thunders. See, the amount of possibilities for a starter deck is actually greater than the amount of possibilities that the game can even throw at you. At some point, the game is going to loop back around in the RNG and start giving you decks that you've already gotten. Because of this, the best deck that you can actually get is around 5 dragons and 4 thunders. However, if the game could, for whatever reason, count to infinity and continue generating decks until it went through all of the probabilities, then the best deck would look something like either 11 dragons or 9 thunders, or 10 dragons and 10 thunders, depending on what you prefer. 20 total instead of 9. Question 13. Why do you keep resetting? If I'm doing no RNG manipulation speedruns, the reason I reset so much in the very beginning of the game is because I'm trying to get a better starter deck. And by better, I mean it needs to have either Regeki or Dark Hole sometimes, or an equip that works on Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Another thing that factors into the decision is how many dragons and thunders it have. However, the Regeki and potentially Dark Hole and the equip that works on Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon are number 1. If I don't see those 2 things, then I don't even look at the rest of the deck most of the time. However, if I do see those 2 things, now I'm going to look at the rest of the deck, and the first thing I'm going to check is dragons and thunders. The second thing I'm going to check is if it has usable beasts. So there are 2 types of beasts in this game, though the game will give you no indication of it. Beast type A and beast type B. To my knowledge, beast type B is the shitty type. This is the type of beast that you can put a fire type or a pyro type on, and it will not make a flame Cerebus, or you could put a plant on it and it will not make Flower Wolf. These are really shitty beasts, and most people call them unusable beasts. The other type of beast, which I believe is beast type A, are known as usable beasts, and these are the beasts that you can put pyros on to make Flame Cerebus, you could put plants on to make Flower Wolf, and anything else under the sun. However, one thing to keep in mind is that even with unusable beasts, you can still put something with wings on it, and it will make Garvus. Not anything that in the picture has wings, but a lot of the things that have wings, such as Wing Egg Elf. Definitely worth keeping in mind that the Garvus fusion works with any kind of beast. However, if I'm playing any other category and you see me resetting, especially the categories that include RNG manipulation, it's typically just because it's a bad run and I want to restart. It means my time is not going to be good in the end, it means that I fucked up, and it means that I want to have another go at it. Question 14. Brazil? Yes. And the final question for today, question number 15. Why is Vape Wild the best place to buy vapes in America and abroad for the best price? Well, gee, I don't know why that would be true. I got this from Vape Wild. But if you do want to check out why that's true, maybe visit the links that are down there. Make GFC a little. Alright guys, that's all the time I have today. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. It really helps out a lot, especially since I'm doing this full-time now. Leave a comment, leave a share, leave a like, smash every button that you find because you are worth it. And if you guys made it to this part in the video, please let me know in the comments below whether or not you want a part 2, because trust me, I have a lot of questions. Alright guys, that's it. See ya.